Hi, welcome to Yoga with Amber Sue, and today we are going to find our roots. We're going to work on building a solid foundation as we go throughout this sequence and really rooting down into the earth, into our mats, and just rising up from there. So let's get started. For joining in. Namaste. We're going to begin today's practice in a comfortable seated position or Sukhasana. So come to sit on your mats. Legs crossed at the shins. Leave a little bit of space between the groin and the calves. Bring your right foot to the left knee, left foot to the right knee. Sit up nice and tall and lifted. Shoulders over top of hips. And you can bring your hands, palms facing up. And we're just going to take a moment and get settled in, connect with our breath, and get comfortable in our space, on the mat and in the room. Just take a few moments and breathe deep. Get centered. If it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. It's completely up to you. Taking your breath in and out through your nose, in and out through your mouth. Whatever feels the best for you in this moment. Prayer hands at the heart center, and set an intention for the practice. Whatever it is that you want to get out of this for you, focus in on that, hone in on that, and now is your time to just really personalize this experience for yourself. Deep breath in, filling up all the way, and exhaling slow and steady, emptying completely. And on your next inhale, make your way into a tabletop position on your mat, moving mindfully, staying aware of your body. Hands are going to come, fingers spread nice and wide on the mat, rooting down between your thumb and your index finger, and feel all four corners pressed onto the mat. You can have your toes curled under here or the tops of your feet flat on the mat. You want your knees to be underneath your hips and your wrists to be underneath your shoulders. Just find what is neutral for you. So we're not dumping or curling just yet. Nice and neutral, and just rooting down before we invite movement into this posture. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in as you tuck the tailbone, lift the navel up into the spine, rounding the back, tucking your chin into your chest, pushing the ground away from you, coming into a cat pose. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly down, concaving the back as you bring that heart through the arm gates, inviting that bend to come into your upper back a little bit more. And slowly take your gaze upward, opening the throat chakra here as you gaze up. Take a deep breath in and exhale back to your cat. Push the ground away from you. And opening back up into your cow. We're going to take a little vinyasa here of one breath, one movement. So from your cow, take a deep breath into your cat. Exhaling, opening back up into cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Now guiding yourself as you move throughout this sequence here. In and out, slow and steady breaths. This is not a race. Nobody's rushing you. One last round, inhaling to your cat. Exhaling, cow. And then tuck your toes under if they're not already. And set your hips back onto your heels, towards your heels. And then walk yourself up, bringing your shoulders over your hips. Like a little toe stretch here. And we're gonna give our wrists a little bit of a break as we warm up our lower half and our upper half. Nothing too fancy here. We're just gonna connect with our breath a little bit more. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing out. Take a nice deep breath in as you raise your arms up into the air, bringing the palms to touch above your crown. And then open your hands like a book, hinging at the thumb and the index finger until the back of your hands are to touch. And then exhaling, you lower back down, fingertips towards the earth. Rotate your palms out. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open. Inhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open. Inhale, lower. Exhale, open again. Come into Balasana, your child's pose, by releasing those toes, bringing your big toes to touch. Your knees are still going to stay about hips distance apart. Your hips are going to set back towards your heels. They don't have to make it. That's just the direction they have to go. Then go ahead and lay your torso down on top of your thighs as you stretch your arms out, coming into that extended child's pose. Bring your forehead to the mat. Stay with your breath, focusing in on your breathing, inhaling in and out, nice and slow. Take a nice deep breath in, moving slow and mindful. Make your way into Tadasana, mountain pose. So you can stand up any way that feels comfortable for you. Nice and slow and steady. And here you can keep your feet hips distance apart, or you can bring your feet to touch, challenging that balance just a little bit more. And we're going to imagine that we are standing safely between two panes of glass, stacked up nice and tall, rooting down into the earth by picking up those toes and spreading them nice and wide on the mat. And then shift around a little here until you can find that sweet spot where all four corners of your feet are pressed down into the earth. So we're not leaning too much on the insides or the outsides, the back or the front. We want all four corners of our feet to be rooted down here. And with our toes spread wide, that helps us to keep that stable base here. Once you have found your center, we're going to start to rise on up, stacking ankles under knees, knees under hips, hips under shoulders, and our chin parallel with mat, the ground. And we're going to take our hands. I always practice with my palms facing out. You can turn them in if you would like. I like them out. I like to stay open. Raise your heart up just a little bit. Draw those shoulder blades back and down, away from the ears. You can take your drishti or your gaze to a fixated point in front of you, or you can take it to the bridge of your nose. You can close your eyes. Whatever feels comfortable. We're going to do a body scan here, going from our toes all the way up to our crown. We're going to pause in each spot of our body, breathe into that area, and just notice any feelings or sensations that arise, any messages that our body might be sending us. So notice how your feet feel rooted down into the earth. Bring your awareness to your ankles, to your calves. Take note of how your knees are feeling, your thighs. Notice the feeling in your hips, in your torso, your back. Bring your awareness to the heart, to the shoulders, to your breathing. Notice your face, your facial expression, and then bring awareness into your thoughts. Take note of all that you're feeling. Honor those feelings, adjusting where it is necessary, or just letting it pass if needed. And then we're going to shift our weight over to the left foot here. And we're going to take our foot, and there are a few ways you can get into tree pose. One is by leaving your foot on the mat and resting your heel above the ankle. Or you can take your foot and place it on the inside of your shin. And if it's available to you, you can take your ankle, bring your foot up, and place it on the inside of your thigh, keeping those toes spread nice and wide, that solid foundation to help you to rise on up. Once you feel comfortable, go ahead and reach your branches up into the air, and then imagine a line of energy shooting, rising from the ground and shooting out of your fingertips. Being sure not to lock the knees, so you want to have a nice soft bend in the knee. Neutral pelvis, we're not tilting to one side or the other. Breathe here. Keeping those hands raised up into the air, bring them parallel to one another beside your ears, palms facing in, and release that foot down, bringing it about hips distance apart into a Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Take a nice nice deep breath in. And you're going to sit your hips back, bending your knees, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. And our weight's going to shift a little bit here. It's going to come onto our heels more, but you still want to keep that connection with the front of your feet onto your mat. Stay connected with your breath. Breathing in and out nice and slow. And on each exhale, see if you can't sink a little bit lower into this posture, bringing your thighs as close to parallel with the mat as your body has the availability for today. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. Take a nice deep breath in. On your exhale, fold over your thighs, lift the hips up into the air, coming into a nice forward fold. Keeping soft knees and remembering that you can keep your knees bent as much as needed. It is not about how straight your knees are. It actually helps to create space in the lower back if you bend your knees and kind of fold down over top of your thighs. This helps to, if you have sciatic pain, to kind of leave a little bit of space in for that nerve there so it doesn't get aggravated or pinched. So go ahead, wherever you are, fold down, connect to this movement, surrendering to this posture, folding forward, breathing deep. Plant your hands down onto the mat, just in front of you, and then step your feet back nice and long. Lift the hips up and back, pressing into the ground, thumb and index finger rooted, fingers spread nice and wide, all four corners of your hands, press firmly into the ground. Heart come towards the thighs as you push the ground away from you. Heels draw down towards the earth. They don't have to make it. That's just the direction they have to go. Bending your knees as much as needed. From your down dog, breathe here. Stay connected with your breath. And then on an inhale, coming up onto the balls of your feet, shifting forward, bringing shoulders over the wrists, setting your hips down, come into a plank pose. Take a nice deep breath in and bring your hips up and back, coming back to your down dog. Shift your weight over to the left. Raise your right leg up towards the sky, keeping your hips squared with one another. And then shifting forward, walk, step, wiggle, shimmy, shake that foot up between your hands, knee over the ankle, and then rise on up, shoulders over hips. Sink those hips down nice and low. Bring that left hip forward, right hip back, squaring them off. Toes spread nice and wide. Heel presses back towards the earth. Raise your arms up into the sky. Palms facing in or out, whatever you like here. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, fold down over that thigh, plant the hands down onto the mat, and then we're going to step that back leg forward, and then fold down over your legs back into that forward fold. Take a nice deep breath in. On your exhale, root down, rise back up into your Urdhva Hastasana. Then from here, We're going to shift our weight over to the right, and you can take your tree pose in any variation that works best for you. Find your foundation, root down, rise up, line of energy. Harness that stable earth energy. Tap into that, bring it into your practice, into your life. Stay connected with your breath and in this moment, and feel all of the feelings that are arising as we move throughout this practice. Release the hands, release the arms back into Tadasana. Take a deep breath in, raise the arms up, set the hips back, bend the knees, coming back to your chair pose. Breathe here. Sinking a little lower on those exhales. And then folding down over top of those thighs, straightening the legs as much as you would like, but don't lock your knees. From here, we're going to take that right leg and we're going to step it back about 3 to 4 feet, coming into that lunge position. Again, squaring off the hips by drawing that left hip back, right hip forward, raising arm up, shoulders over top of hips, sink down into the posture. Plant the hands down beside the foot and step it back and into the air, three-legged down dog, and then bring it down to meet the other one, and then and just a regular down dog. Bending the knees as much as you need. Take a nice deep breath in as you shift forward into your plank. Inhale to your down dog. And we're going to take that a few times. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Staying in your down dog. Breathe deep. Root down in those hands. Shifting back forward into your plank. Lower your knees down to the mat. Coming into tabletop once more. Bring your big toes to touch. Set your hips back towards those heels. Melt down. And this time, bring your hands back behind you towards your feet into your balasana. Let your shoulders come forward, forehead to the mat. Breathing nice and deep and slowly, inhaling and exhaling. Have a deep breath in, moving mindfully, make your way onto your back. Keep your heels drawn in towards your sits bones. Lengthen that tailbone down towards your heels as you tilt your pelvis upward and flatten your back out so that little space, that little cove that's there kind of flattens out. So you want to stay like a board, I guess. Go ahead and reach that right leg up into the sky, flexing that foot, and then bending the knee, cross that leg over top of the left leg, just about at the ankle, and then push, draw the knee away from your body, bringing it in line with that ankle into a figure 4 pose. And if this feels good to you, you can stay here. If you would like to add a little bit more to the stretch, you can go ahead and lift that left leg up off the ground, bringing the ankle in line with this knee, keeping this front foot flexed though to protect your joints here. And if this feels good, you can stay here if you would like. And if you have space, keeping your shoulders and upper back pressed down onto the mat and your lower back on the mat. Remember that backboard we got going on. You can interlace your fingers back behind your left leg and just draw it in towards your body, kind of intensifying that stretch a little bit more. Breathe here. Notice where your body is resisting. Don't force past that. Honor it. Breathe into that space. Respecting your body's own limitations. Slowly lower your leg down if it's up in the air. Back to the mat, tucking the heel in towards the sits bones. And then uncross your legs. Reach that right leg up into the air. Give it a nice good stretch here. Pull it into your body. And then go ahead and bring that heel in towards your sits bones. And we're going to take that on the other side. Left leg goes up into the air. Flex that foot, keep it flexed the whole time. Cross the left leg over the right, just about at the ankle, over the thigh here. Draw that leg away from you, bringing the knee in line with the ankle as much as you can. And again, you can stay here if that feels good to you. You can raise up if that feels good. And just remembering that we have more space on one side than we do the other. So keep that in mind as you move, that you might not have the same range of motion on one side that you do the other, or the same amount of flexibility. If you would like, you can cross your fingers and release them back behind your leg, and then draw your legs in towards your chest. Pausing when you feel that resistance, staying here, breathing with that. If it starts to hurt or pinch or pull, go ahead and back out of that, because yoga should feel good. It should not hurt. Making sure that your back is flat on the mat. Go ahead and lower that foot down if it's raised. Stretch your legs up into the air, imagining that you are pressing them into the ground. So there is an air wall up there, and you're pressing your feet into that air wall, pushing them up. And then curl them both down, heels towards the sits bones. And we're going to take a little twist here from one side over to the other. So take your knees and allow them to fall over towards the right, lifting the hip up off the mat, but keeping those shoulders and upper back onto the mat. So legs go to the right, and you can take your head over towards the left. Super gentle stretch here. Nothing fancy. Take a deep breath in as you float back through center, and then take your knees over to the left and take your head and turn it towards the right. Shoulders come up off the mat, shoulders stay, hips come up off the mat, shoulders stay flat. Come back up to center. Stretch your legs up into the air one more time. Push into the air wall. And then slowly, with control, lower your legs down, allowing them to go about mat distance apart. Coming into our final pose for the evening, Savasana.
Begin to relax your body. Take a nice deep inhale, filling up all the way, inviting in newness, spaciousness, and then slowly exhale, expelling all of the air, releasing what is no longer needed. Settling into the mat, bring your awareness to your face, relaxing your eyebrows, letting your tongue rest softly to the roof of your mouth. Your shoulders relax into the mat. Your fingers curl in naturally. Your feet rest softly off to the side. Your natural breath begins to flow freely, without restriction or control. Succumb to the present moment. Feel the peacefulness within the stillness, relaxing completely while staying present. Simply be.
Begin to invite movement back into your body by wiggling your toes and your fingers. Invite movement in your ankles and in your wrists. reaching your arms up over your head. Give yourself a nice stretch in the opposite direction by pulling up in the arms, down in the feet. Then using your right arm as a pillow and tucking your knees up in, roll over to the right side. When you feel ready, guide yourself up, coming back into a comfortable seated position on your mat, whatever that may be. If your eyes are still closed, blink them open. Bring your hands to the Anjali Mudra, prayer hands at heart center. Just thank yourself for showing up to practice and for taking care of your body and your soul and your mind all in one. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, depending on when you're watching this video. Namaste.